Right, back we are, Waking Sands. Hi Tataru. Stola. Still standing here, eh? Okay. Oh, let's go speak to Minfilia. Ah, a triumphant hero returns. Thancred told us the news upon his arrival. He's presently in the Solar, giving a full report to Lady Minfilia. You should join him at once. Lady Minfilia is most eager to see you. I will do that. My late arrival nearly cost Zest his life. I wasn't there when the Amalja took him prisoner, and I wasn't there when they served him to Ifrit. Yes, by some miracle he survived, but that does not excuse the fact that he should never have had to face such dangers alone. I failed him utterly, just as I'm failing you all. What is done, Thancred. You'll blame yourself for every... Sorry, was I interrupting? Zest, it is so good to see you again. Impeccable timing, my friend. I had just finished regaling Minfilia with your heroic exploits. Thancred has told me everything. You have done well to return to us. The perils you faced were undeniably great, yet part of me believes that I had no cause to fear, and now we can put pay to our long investigation. As we suspected, the Amalja undertook both the robbery and the abductions with the aim of summoning their primal Ifrit. Nor is this tale limited to Uldar. Similar incidents have been rife in both Limsa Lominsa and Gridania of late. Yep, I know about the Limsan one anyway. I dare say you've been curious how these crimes are linked to the primals. Permit me to explain. Having manifested in the physical realm, primals must consume aether if they are to maintain their presence here, and the stronger they become, the more aether they require. Now, aether exists throughout creation. It flows through all life and permeates the very air we breathe. Alas, this alone will not suffice to sustain the likes of Ifrit. Nay, he and his kind require a more concentrated source of aether, crystals. It is for this reason that incidents involving crystals can often be traced back to a primal. Which leaves us the why of the abductions. To understand this, you must first understand how primals are born. When all is well with the world, primals possess no physical form. Their essence is dispersed across the great river of aether. However, when the world is plunged into chaos, those who worship the primals cry out to their gods for deliverance from suffering. These cries serve as a beacon towards which a primal's essence is irresistibly drawn. It is this coming together, or etheric coalescence, which grants the beings physical form. Once born, a primal gains strength from its followers' worship. The more numerous and fervent they are, the more powerful their god becomes. But the primals, seldom satisfied with such reverence as their adherents freely give, and in order to gain more power, they do not scruple to create followers. They do this by tempering mortals, a process to which yourself were subjected. Yet, even as Ifrit took your comrades in his thrall, you alone remained unaffected. This is thanks to the power you possess, the Echo. We know not the why of it, but those blessed with the Echo are immune to primal influence. It is as though a greater power protects us. When you first came to us, I told you that the Echo would be instrumental in dealing with the primal threat. I trust you now begin to see why. Recent incidents all share a common trait: meticulous planning. Such elaborate designs of a new development, and one which fills me with an unshakable sense of foreboding. While I share your concern, my presiding feeling is one of relief at your safe return. Ah, the immortal flames assured me that they will deal with the aftermath, so you need not concern yourself with that. We may rest easy for a time. I suggest you take full advantage of the respite, Zest. You may be sure it won't last long. Once people learn the identity of the hero of Feldefrit, I fear you will have nary a moment to yourself. Whether she intended to or no, Minfilia neglected to tell you something I think would be best you heard from one of us. It concerns the tempered abductees that were rescued. I'm sorry to report that they are all to be put to death. The flames with whom you were imprisoned included. Needless to say, this information must not be known to the public. I swear to you that we would not do this if there were any other recourse. Once a man is tempered, he is tempered for life. His very existence lends strength to the primal, whom he cannot choose but worship. And so we Scions continue our fight, that no more innocents need be sacrificed. I hope you will continue to stand with us, Zest. But I should be going. I must offer my apologies to the Flame General for the losses his people suffered. Till next time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, Fancred. Nothing's all your fault. Gods forgive me, how many more lives? Louisoire would have never allowed this to happen. I have to do better. I have to be stronger. Okay, well, take care of yourself, at least. So I got a new bracelet out of that, see if it's any good. Excellent. Okay, Minfilia, what have you got for me today then? Minfilia is wearing a wry smile. Might it have something to do with your newfound fame? Until not so very long ago, you were but one of many adventurers seeking to make their way in Eorzea. But for your character and courage, you were raised to the esteemed post of envoy. Thereafter, you travelled the realm, aiding those in need without thought of reward, confirming to Stola that the Scions would benefit from your aid. And no sooner had you joined us than you personally bested the primal Ifrit. You have achieved a great deal in a short time, and won fame in so doing. Alas, fame does not come without a price, as you will soon discover. Okay. Or the point you're trying. We have guests, Zest. Or rather, you have guests. Okay. Beg pardons. Ah, Lady Minfilia, radiant as always. I am given to understand that the Scions of the Seventh Dawn have but recently welcomed a new hero into their midst. I am here on behalf of the Maelstrom, Grand Company of Limsa, to offer said hero a place of honour within our ranks. As you can see, Zest, your recent exploits have garnered you the attentions of the Grand Companies of Eorzea. You can see here. Each organisation would have Ifrit's bane for his own. To this end, all three have sent officers to court you. Great. Better buy me dinner first. They would have not ordinarily go to such lengths to enlist a new recruit. That they have is evidence of their high regard to you. For you. I find myself wondering how words of Zest's deeds spread so quickly. That the immortal flame should know of his triumph is to be expected. But what of the other Grand Companies? Your reputation precedes you, Master Flowsaber. 'Tis no ordinary man who can face a primal and emerge the victor. The Order of the Twin Adder has need of valiant men such as you. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us ensure that peace ever reigns over the Twelfthwood. What a pleasure it is to finally meet you, Master Flowsaber. My comrades speak of you in the most glowing terms. A man of your talent belongs with the immortal flames. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us secure a prosperous future for Uldar. I don't know. The Admiral was not exaggerating when she said you have the look of a hero. Full often does she speak of you, friend. As to many others in Limsa. Long before the rest of Eorzea took note, your name is well known to us, owing to your valorous deeds on behalf of its citizens. It is only natural we should want you for the Maelstrom. Join your strength to ours, and together let us see the grand vessel of Limsa Laminsa to the shores of glory. I mean, you all make compelling points, I suppose. Lady Minfilia. Very well. Though I'm quite sure you need no reminding, mayhap a brief summary of the situation would help to clarify your thoughts on this matter. As you know, the Grand Companies are all-encompassing organisations empowered to call upon the martial, economic and technological resources of their respective city-states in times of strife. There are presently 3 organisations in Eorzea: the Maelstrom of Limsa Laminsa, the Order of the Twin Adder of Gridania, and the Immortal Flames of Uldar. Serving a Grand Company means serving the nation to which it belongs. You will be charged with its defence and tasked with advancing its cause. In return for your faithful service, you will be furnished with various rewards, some of which may well prove useful to you in your endeavours. If you are agonising over which of the Grand Companies best deserves your loyalty, be at ease. The commitment you make this day need not be permanent. Should you wish to shift your alliance at a later date, you are entitled to do so. And yet, I concede it is no small choice you face. A thought occurs to me. You will of course recall that the 3 city-states are planning to hold remembrance services. Well, as part of the proceedings, I am given to understand that the leader of each Grand Company will deliver an address. Hearing these addresses ought to help make you make a formed decision. What say you, my dear officers? I guess they seem all for it. A fine suggestion. You're as wise as you are beautiful, my lady. Very well, let Zest hear our leaders speak, then return here with his decision. We eagerly await your answer. Okay, but do I have to do those dorky salutes? I know full well that adventurers are by their nature a liberty-loving breed, and not best suited to the discipline of military service, but I strongly urge you to join the Grand Company nonetheless. While the promise of reward is enticing in itself, it is not the only benefit. You are possessed of great power, Zest, and with it you are capable of doing untold good. Yet know that great powers want to attract attention, not all of it friendly. There will be those who wish you ill, and you must needs be on the lookout for them. Yet however vigilant you are but one man. In the midst of a Grand Company, however, you will be one man amongst many, a friend amongst friends. Your achievements will be shared, and so will the danger. I can think of no better arrangement. Of course, joining one organisation need not mean leaving another. I hope that we can continue to rely upon your aid. The 12 know that we will have need of it in the days ahead. The Grand Company seek to protect their own nations. We Scions, on the other hand, seek to preserve the future of Eorzea as a whole. Similar, yet not quite the same. Now then, I expect you will be afield more often in the future. As such, I will have you carry this link pearl with you at all times. It will allow us to stay in touch regardless of location. Oh. Wonderful. Your zeal is changing, Zest, and you have the power to help shape it anew. None can say what tomorrow will bring, but so long as we believe in ourselves, there is naught we cannot achieve. Now it is time you made ready for your journey. Before you depart, be sure to speak to Teteru. He will apprise you as to where and when the remembrance services are due to take place. Well, I guess I have a decision ahead of me. I don't think it's going to be one that's particularly difficult, but I guess I'll give the leaders their chance to sway me. With the powers you possess, there will be those who wish you ill, and you must needs be on the lookout for them. Yet, however vigilant you are but one man. Yes, in the midst of a grand company, however, yes, you get the point. Okay, you guys can wait there then. Now? Alright. Have a wander show. Oh, Yashtola's finally given up her leaning post duties. How are we doing in here? Ah, you doing Papalimo? Speed tears? Oh yes, I love them. There's nothing like a good exposition when you're having trouble sleeping. Okay. Papalimo, what are you up to? 5 years ago, the Grand Companies joined as one and fought the Guardian Empire at the Cardinal Flats. And now, for the first time, the people will gather to remember those who fell in the battle. That being said, no one has a clear memory of what transpired that fateful day. Not even the leaders of each nation. Yeah. Oh, hello again, laddie. Meet Persevanes. We was thick as thieves in the old days. At least, I think we was. Well, it might have been that he was the right creepy bastard and I did my best to avoid him. Still, we was both members of the old order, and either way we're in this together, eh? Okay. Maybe chew with your mouth closed. That's probably a good idea. Una. Anyway. Bancred, please be careful with that thing. You've put us all to shame with your recent performance in the field. If I'm to keep up, I dare say I'll need bigger knives. It's not all about the size, Bancred. It's how you use them, good buddy. Hi, Brent. Everything looks to be in order. Right, on to the next customer. Okay. Uli, I must confess I'd rather miss the obnoxious Mikoto's company. The Arbor is taking part in a joint operation with the Immortal Flames. I imagine he's having the time of his life right now. Oh yeah. Didn't realise I didn't see him. Hello, Armvold. An experienced warrior like Arbor would die so easily. He's strong, fast and cunning. He'll come back safe. Well, hopefully. Sure he'll be fine. Hey, Stola. How was that wall? I have heard word of your deeds. I'm sparing in my praise, so you know that you have truly impressed me. Be that as it may, it's fortunate that Fancred arrived when he did. Had he but a moment later, I shudder to think what may have transpired. Yeah, I'm glad he was there to stop those two Emulja from... Anyway, yeah, Oyonje, hello. The destruction that visited this land cannot be attributed to the forces of the Empire alone. Worm of midnight, of breath infernal, for some a legend made flesh, for others an insidious symbol of memory lost. We grasp but a piece of this puzzle. Much and more must be questioned and contemplated ere the fallen moon revealeth its myriad secrets. Always a pleasure, Oyonji. Oh wait, no. Something like that. Anyway, Tataru, where are you? Right here. I'm sorry about the attention you're getting, Zest. I might have sung your praises a little too loudly, and often to a few too many people. Next time I'll be sure to hold my tongue, literally if necessary. Yeah, you're fine, Tataru, don't worry about it. Anyway, I expect you want to know where and when the Remembrance Service is taking place. If all goes to plan, Gridania's Grand Company, the Order of the Twin Adder, will hold the first of 3 services, and Elder Seedseer Kani Senna will deliver her address at Miketo's Amphitheatre. I should probably mention at this point, due to the organisational challenges involved in assembling all of the involved parties, it's possible that the order of services might change. Still, there's not much we can do about that, so make Gridania your first port of call. Next you'll need to go to Uldar, where the Flame General Ralban Aldin will be addressing the masses at the Royal Promenade. Oh, and it's rumoured that there's to be a special guest. How exciting! Last but not least, you must make your way to the stateroom in Limsa, where Maelstrom Chief Admiral Merle Blitheswin will be giving her address. The room is accessible via the Admiral's lift. Identify yourself to the sentry Zanfael, and he will admit you. Got all that? I'm familiar with that one at least. Well, off you go then. I hope you find the Remembrance Services suitably educational. I suggest visiting the city-states in my prescribed order. Though with your record of impeccable timing and luck, the schedule may well change in favour of your preferred travel plans. Yeah, well. So what you're saying is, it doesn't really matter. Or do I go in? Too much. However, I don't think it's a bad order. So I guess we will start in Gridania. Why not? It's busy in Gridania this evening. I believe it said the amphitheatre, correct? No, I guess I can wait here till it starts.
I lost my son to the calamity.
The 3 Seedseers are all together.
Some say you couldn't take a step without stumbling over a body.
Oh, here we go, I suppose.
Our forebears were once strangers in the Twelveswood. Fearful of the Green Wrath, they hid themselves in the dark recesses of the earth. Yet they dreamed of basking in the dappled sunlight of the forest. Through great effort, they proved their worth to the elementals, and were granted a place beneath the boughs. So it was that Gridania was born, some working hand in hand. The Hyur and the Elysian settlers sowed the seeds of our civilization, and soon they were joined by folk of all races. So nourished by the waters of unity, and blessed by the light of the matron, Gridania flourished into the great nation it is today.
Do you see the Gridanian standard? There, hanging behind the Elder Seedseer.
I recognise you two. Weren't you guys on the boat with me when I first came into Limsa?
The entwined serpents represent the unity between Hyur and Elezen. An elegant symbol, do you not agree?
It's alright. Not something I would want to be wearing on my lapels, though.
In accordance with the will of the elementals, we have embraced a life of peace. Alas, our neighbors have not always sought the same for themselves, nor for us. Though we Gridanians have no love for war, we have still less for those who would threaten our way of life. Ever have we fought to protect the sanctity of the Twelveswood. When the Garlean Empire brought its war of conquest to Eorzea, we rallied under the noble standard of the Twin Adder that we might push back the encroaching darkness. And it was we who prepared the ground for the reformation of the Eorzean Alliance, that all the peoples of this realm might stand united against the common threat.
I mean, at this point, I would just want to say, do you want a cookie?
5 years ago, the Alliance met the armies of the Empire upon the fields of Cartano. It would prove the bloodiest battle in recent memory. Countless Gridanian lives were lost. As Supreme Commander of the Order of the Twin Adder, ever shall I bear the weight of our people's sacrifice. Alas, their loss was not the only tragedy to befall us that day, for soon came the calamity. The scars borne by our forest are a constant reminder of its violence. Our lives have been irrevocably changed, each waking hour a struggle to survive. Driven to desperation, some among us have strayed from the path of righteousness, resorting to banditry, poaching, and other unconscionable deeds.
Like being a bard.
To compound our woes, the Ixal have returned in force, emboldened by our suffering. They test our defenses nigh without cease, and prey upon the vulnerable. So beleaguered from within and without, it is of little wonder that our unity now falters.
Time was a man could walk
pox
the
on that
high
bloody
roads without
Ixal.
fear.
On this day, 5 years ago, countless Eorzeans laid down their lives that we might behold another dawn. Please join with me in honoring their memory.
And how do you propose to honor the memory of those you cannot remember, pray tell?
She makes a fair point.
The destruction wrought by the calamity was indiscriminate. It dealt death to Eorzean and Garlean alike. Yet while we have labored to rebuild our homes, to rebuild our lives, the Empire has set about raising steel fortresses here in the Twelveswood. Let none be mistaken. The Garleans remain the greatest threat to our survival. If we are to stand against them, we must remember what it is to be united. Our many troubles blind us to the woes of our fellow man. Thence is harmony lost. Yet harmony is the founding principle of Gridania. We are gathered here to honor the fallen. Let them be honored not only in word and thought, but through concerted action. I bid you join hands with me once more beneath the Twin Adder's standard. And together, let us heal the forest's wounds, that our progeny might live in harmony beneath these ancient boughs. For serenity, purity, and sanctity, we must think of the children.
Woods will be done.
It's up to us to protect the
All
forest.
the elementals! If you'll permit me, Alfie no.
No, Zest. Oh, I mean, that's you. Okay. Good to meet you, Alphino.
And my sister, Alize, at your service.
Hello, Alize.
I saw at a glance that you were a fellow traveler.
Never mind. Yeah. We briefly met in passing.
You might call us students of history, sampling the realm's remembrances in pursuit of enlightenment.
The Gridanians are unfortunate enough to have to contend with two beast tribes. The Exile are unquestionably the more troublesome, being of a naturally warlike disposition and want to summon their bloodthirsty primal Garuda. The Sylphs, by contrast, are peaceful in nature, being mischievous rather than malevolent, and have long been on friendly terms with the Gridanians, until recently at least. Alas, they have grown aloof. A change observed at roughly the time they summoned the primal Ramu. The Gridanians have no love for war, and they consider open conflict as a last resort. Though they clash with the Exile ever more regularly, you may be assured that they do so in self-defence. As for the Sylphs, they are yet bound by a peace treaty, so one wonders how long it will be before it is broken. Twelveswood was grievously wounded during the calamity, leaving Gridania vulnerable to attack. The people are hopeful that restoring the wood and thereby the power of the elementals will put an end to their woes. Yet how long will it take? Centuries, I'd wager. Meanwhile, the Exile will continue their incursions, spurred on by Garuda and her insatiable appetite for destruction. Whether the Gridanians like it or not, sooner or later it will come to all-out war, and when it does, the Order of the Twin Adder will need all the help it can muster. How valuable might the aid of a capable adventurer prove to them then? Well, thank you for your insight, Alphino. Take care, I guess. I mean, overall, as speeches go, it was okay. Started off pretty poorly, blowing smoke up their own rear end. And then she did make some good points later on. Overall, it was a little bit sanctimonious for my liking. But I guess she knows to play with the crowd that she has. Let's head off to Uldar. See what General Reborn has to say. The Royal Promenade. This way to get there is this way, I suppose. Looks like a little bit of a crowd is starting to gather. Oh, I guess we'll wait. Oh, here comes the man himself.
'Tis the Sultana Nanima herself!
And Reborn as well.
Hark you, souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore. Hurrah! Reborn! Where since antiquity, under the sage and judicious rule of the Ul dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold. Where by the grace and glory of Nalthal have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Uldar!
It's these two again.
There, at the Flame General's back flies the Grand Company's standard.
I gathered as much.
Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
And those are the two things they count above all, is it? Well, to know.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we.
And how'd that work out?
Thus was the 7th Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
Yeah, I've heard myself it went rather differently than that.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests. If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not. And now, but 5 years into this 7th Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead. Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden, and enthralled. Where are the merciful alms of the rich? Where is the just steel of the righteous? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save? You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. It is but a slow death. Our enemies surround us. The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads, strangling the lifelines of trade. Meanwhile, the Garleans make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth. We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act. Whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist, all must recognize that a divided Uldar stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you. Line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Uldar, but to restore her to prosperity. As the realm prospers, so shall Uldar. As Uldar prospers, so shall her people. Ya for Uldar!
Together we are one.
Your Grace.
Reborn? People of Uldar, I, Nanamo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you. Much has been made of the wealth of Uldar. Yet those who measure that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Uldar lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people. Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Uldar, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the Sultana!
For victory and fortune, stride fearless into the Inferno, for we are, by fire, reborn! Forsooth?
The time is now!
I fancy meeting you again.
Yeah, well, I guess it won't be the last time, as I imagine I will get to the Minson one and you'll be there also, but I guess we'll see. Hello again, LSA? No? Okay. The Ordans have a long history of conflict with the Amalja, a beast tribe that worships the primal Ifrit. Judging by your look of distaste, I take it you've encountered them. The Ordans do not shy from confrontation. If aught threatens their precious prosperity, they will seek to crush it. So they have dealt with Ifrit just thus far, smothering his flames each time he is stoked to life. Yet he is but one of several problems. Though they have been quiet these past 5 years, the Garleans have not gone away. Meanwhile, refugees continue to arrive in droves, and Uldar has no clear policy on how to deal with them. After all, not even the Sultanate's coffers are bottomless, and even assuming they had the coin, resources will ever be finite. Which brings me back to the subject of Ifrit. It has been observed that the Amalja are summoning him with ever-increasing frequency. Every time they do so, the Ordans send their forces to smite the Primal, and though they invariably succeed, each victory is bought with blood. It is a war of attrition that they cannot well sustain. Small wonder then that the Immortal Flames are eager to recruit more members. At such a desperate hour, an adventurer of your experience would be a most welcome addition to their ranks. Still not going to say anything to me, is she? Yeah. Tough crowd. Yeah, what can I say about that speech? I mean, again, started off massively blowing smoke up their own rear end. Ended with some good points of unity and taking care of its people. However, way too bombastic for my sake, and the fact that they're so in love with their might and wealth is a bit of a red flag to me. And that's the public facing aspect of them. Lord knows how they actually are in private. A lot worse, I would imagine. Anyway, let's head over to Limsa. Through this way. Hello, Zamphale. Do I wait here? Here to attend a remembrance service. Be quick, the Admiral's to give her address at any moment. Okay. Let me in and let's hear the Admiral's take.
The Garleans are another matter altogether.
So much for our alliance.
It's sunk beyond the seabed.
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride.
Not sure about that.
700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to uncontested ruler of the 5 seas and beyond.
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say.
And hello, Alphino. Alice, pleasure to see you.
The crimson field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the black longship represents a pirate vessel.
When the Gallian Empire marched upon Eorzea, we assembled beneath the Maelstrom standard, and our grand company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilfir's bloody executioners. And together, we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartino. That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage. Yet many of ours did not survive. Join me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
Freedom. Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom.
That bad thing, Alphino? I don't quite understand.
Much as the beast tribes have. Small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
I suppose.
It has been 5 long years since the calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again? Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishback
The Sahagin have risen?
While the mines of Ogomoro spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go. These savage beast tribes will be the first waves to crash against our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Gallian Empire. Even now the curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck? There is but one course left to us. One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the calamity has reopened twixt pirate and maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming tempest. Mark ye well, a crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard, and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves, till sea swallows all!
Long live the Admiral!
Admiral Melvin!
Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
I'll follow ye to the 7 hells, Admiral!
Leaders definitely know to play to their crowds, that's for sure.
Fancy meeting you again.
I'm not really surprised, this is like the 3rd time now. As the Admiral mentioned in her address, Limsa Lominsa is plagued by 2 beast tribes. The first are the fish-like Sahagin, worshippers of the primal Leviathan. Second are the kobolds, who dwell beneath the earth and take the primal Titan for their god. As if the beast tribe's presence weren't troublesome enough, the Garleans have also chosen to erect a fortress right in Laminson's backyard. And that is to say naught of internal strife. As a nation of pirates, there is no end to the blood feuds beyond various factions, and while they fight among themselves, the Garleans whet their blades and watch. If the Laminsons have any hope of withstanding the Empire, they must first resolve their own affairs. Differences must be set aside and the primal threat dealt with once and for all. To this end, I expect they will soon take decisive action against the beast tribes. Mark my words, the Maelstrom Standard will be drenched a deeper shade of crimson ere long. That a capable adventurer like you would be a valuable addition to their crew is beyond question. But will you sail with the Admiral? Pleasure seeing you, Alphino, and Alice, charming as always. Celeste, this is Minfilia. You are well, I hope. Would I be correct in thinking that the final remembrance service is now concluded? Yep. A moment ago, you say? What a coincidence. Jesting aside, I trust you remember our guests from the Grand Companies. Well, delighted though we are to have them here at the Wakened Sounds, it would not do to keep them in suspense any longer than necessary. In short, hurry back. Sure, I guess. So yeah, the Admiral. Again, a little bit of grandiose posturing at the beginning. Then again, made a decent point about unity and stuff. Their freedom seems very important to them, which is not a bad thing sometimes. But from what I can tell, as much as they moan about the beast tribes encroaching on their lands, they have not been here that long in comparison themselves, so it could be argued that these isn't their lands to begin with. Although I guess they have been here long enough to make some claim. I don't know the ins and outs of it though. Yeah, none of the nations are without their problems, that's for sure. So I guess I'll have to go with my gut on who I prefer. I have to say there's not a lot in it. I think each leader has their heart in the right place, at least. Yeah. So, I came to Limsa for a reason, and I may just stick with them, to be honest. They kind of follow my views a little bit more. Plus, Marauders Guild is there, well, which makes life a little bit easier. Not the best reasons to be choosing a faction to support, but it is what it is, I suppose. Well, anyway, let's go inform the Grand Company representatives and get them out of Minfilia's office before she has an aneurysm. Hello, Tataru. if we've picked up any new visitors. No. Seems like it's still the same old group for now. It's Minfilia. Welcome back, Zest. Were the Grand Company leader's words as illuminating as you had hoped? Aye, each nation is beset with problems. I trust you now see why your services are in such demand. Would that there were more of you, Zest. But you must be tired from your journey. Why don't you rest a while and take a moment to reflect on your decision? Once your mind is made up, pray give the Grand Company officers your answer. I don't really see the need to drag it out longer than is necessary.
The gods only know what grand company our adventurer friend will keep. The wheels of change are in motion regardless.
Brother, are you certain this course is best?
Whatever do you mean, dear sister?
The so-called remembrance ceremonies were little more than standard waving rallies. As though the Calamity and Seventh Umbral Era warranted scarcely a mention.
Well, of course they were standard waving rallies. Since you are so observant, mayhap you noticed what mention was made of the Warriors of Light? None. I suppose they must have forgotten the heroes who spared Eorzea a fate worse than the Calamity? No, dear Alize, they haven't forgotten these details. They have elected to omit them. Deep are the wounds the Calamity inflicted upon Eorzea. So deep, in fact, that the realm still bleeds. Needless to say, the beast tribes and their primals do little to alleviate the pain. So, the task of salving Eorzea's wounds falls to the scions of the Seventh Dawn, with a little help from our friends, the Grand Companies. Remembrance will yield no remedy. If our world is to heal, we must put the horrors of the Calamity behind us.
Our grandfather would never entrust the fate of the realm to despots who rewrite history to their convenience. There must be another way to cure what ails this world, and I mean to find it.
You are most welcome to try. Our paths may differ, but our destination is the same. In time, I dare say we will see eye to eye.
I should hope so.
My lady!
We are to escort you!
Hope does not come into it. We share the burden of this fate, dear sister, and will prevail together or not at all. The salve will serve not only to close up our present wounds, but prevent old ones from opening anew.
Okay, well, I think the choice, I guess, is fairly obvious. I will go with the Maelstrom. How was the Admiral's speech? But you need not explain. That you stand before me now is answer enough. You have resolved to join the Maelstrom, have you not? I have indeed. That's the spirit, lad. With allies like you, how much stronger is our crew? Let us brave the seas together, friend. Now the choice is made, it's time to add your name to our rolls. Make your way to Maelstrom Command back in Limsa. I can do that. The Maelstrom Recruitment Officer seems eager to welcome you to Limsa Laminsa's Grand Company. It's on the upper decks. In case you've forgotten, I will send words to our personnel officers to respect you. The duties of a Maelstrom soldier can be both arduous and challenging, but I promise you, you will not regret this choice. May your passage be swift and your bearing sure. Very well. Hello. See you soon. Pop my head into the others. Let them know where I'm heading out. Okay. And I guess I can just back to Limsa. Okay, I believe this is the way I go. So I will be with you to fill out the paperwork shortly.